In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. In today's lecture, we're going to learn how to configure our settings, especially the network, okay? That's very nice. To be able to successfully access the specific page, if you were to go to your system and carefully type in your terminal, and then thoughtfully enter the necessary command. So in this way, we can easily find out our own personal settings, or perhaps yours, or even his particular configurations. Of course, this is my IP address, and this is my IP, okay? And this is my address, right? I mean, it's mine, okay? This is the address, right? It might be different from one device to another, right? Alright, I'll write it here. 192.168.1.1, okay? Alright, you do the same thing and it will show you your address. That's your address. Okay? Alright, of course. Alright. As for the username and password, you'll find them on the back of the router or on your router device. Okay? We'll write my username and password. One second. We have decided that we will completely eliminate and eradicate this specific subject matter to ensure its complete and utter disappearance from our current discourse, thereby ensuring it no longer occupies any attention or consideration. We want the home page. It might be different from one homepage to another, or from one company to another. Of course, this homepage is from We Company. And this is the version, but the location of the homepage might be different. Okay. Alright. Alright. That's really great. There's a really great website. It's basically a big... Okay. It's called Router. Okay. You'll go to the first result that shows up, and its domain is Router, okay? It's basically a big collection for most, the well-known companies around the world. Okay. And most routers, yeah, are available worldwide, I mean, okay? But of course, the WE router isn't available here. If you click on anything and set a password, it'll show you the username and password for that router, okay? And it also tells you its model, okay? All right. If we pick anything else, just anything else like that, it works. That's it. And that's why, yeah, the password thing, when you buy, for example, a new router. So sometimes the default username and password credentials are just preset. So you absolutely need to promptly change the password for your own security so that not just anyone on the very same network as you can easily access and then change your Wi-Fi settings. To change our password, we'll go to Advanced, then go to System Management. You'll find this section on any router model. If you go to Settings and System Admin, you'll find Account Management. You'll change the password. You'll enter the old password, for example, admin, and then re-enter it in this field. And that's it. Very nice and simple. This is to prevent anyone from getting in and messing with your stuff. Alright, very nice and simple. Now let's move on to our next section. Okay? How, for example, could you, if you discover that someone, for example, was able to access your network and you want to, for example, how would I do that? Alright, if you check, you'll find there are actually two devices currently connected to this network. The first one is mine. That's my laptop. Okay, it's mine. Alright. If you click, it will. It will block it. How? Through my device? That's my device, my own device. Okay, alright. So the Wi-Fi, or actually the router, this router, when it sees that there's a device with this MAC address, it tries to connect to the network. It tells it, no, you can't connect, and blocks it. If you add it, it will add it. And you'll find that the network is closed. It tells me it's not showing up. If I click remove from blacklist, the device can connect automatically. Okay? But I think the idea is clear now. Alright? Alright. Very nice. Here, WE Company has set up Wi Fi, but in a simple way. Not a big deal or anything. Not a lot of features. Okay? Alright. This is the network name and this is the network password. Okay? Okay? In what is interest? JHertz. Okay. Very nice words. Beautiful words. Now we've learned a little about how it works and how we can do these nice things for you. Now we'll get into some more complicated things. Shall we proceed to the next stage? And let's move on so we can understand what it means. Of course, you can change the router's address from here. Okay. You can, for example, make it 1.2, 1.3, however you like. Okay. Its default is 1.1. You can change it from here, no problem. Okay. And that's for the subnet. Okay. Alright. We'll also explain in a bit what a subnet is and what this topic is about. Okay. Alright. There's a very important protocol. Yeah, it's in a router and it's called DHCP. This is the protocol responsible for distributing addresses to the devices. Okay? For example, if there's a specific device that needs to be on the network so it can, or it gives it an address, meaning it gives it an address so it can communicate with the other devices on the same network. All right, that's very good. Here it tells you, or the one for the network, it says from 192.168.1.2. Okay, can someone tell me? So doesn't it mean .1.1? I'll tell you, because .1.1, the router's address itself can't be used. Can two devices on the same network have the same address? No. Yeah, up to 65. Alright, that's guide. Alright, these are just little things to shake you up, but you understood this topic because when we come to create, yeah, so alright, we'll talk about this part when we do an attack later on. Alright, that's good. Alright then, let's thoughtfully move on to another significant part of our discussion. Shall we proceed? Indeed. Let's absolutely go forward with this now. First of all, this is the name of the network. You can change it from here, no problem. Okay? This is considered more or less what we explained a little while ago. Alright? Okay. Like I said, it's just the name, that's all. Number of devices, or the available devices. That is, the number of devices connected to the network is 32. It has to be 32. Like, that's just how it is, from 1 to 32. Broadcast. What does that mean? It means if you check this, the network will be visible to everyone. If you uncheck it, then the network will be... For the devices, it means hidden, right? Right. For example, if I want to set up my very own personal network. Okay, so this is actually called I am setting up right. There is more than just one particular type. There are some that don't even have authentication. If I just click on the network, it'll open. You have encryption, right? And you have, right, and maybe, right, right? Okay. But by default, on most routers, it's WPA2, right? And both are selected together, and it's also like that. This is considered your own, and you can change it from here, no problem at all. Okay? The last thing you have is, right? What is this exactly? For example, let's say you, as a person, right? You want to connect to this, but you don't have the ability to log in or, for example, enter the password or anything like that, right? So you enable something like this, or you enable the option for, right? There are more than one for it. You have, right? You press a button on the router, and you also enabled a feature on your phone, right? Or even on your Windows device, right? Right? And then a secure and reliable connection truly happens between the primary router and the specific device you are diligently trying to connect with. Secondly, regarding the PIN, this particular PIN is essentially a unique set of numerical digits, or alternatively, you have the flexibility to carefully modify it to your preference. When you genuinely want to establish a connection to the router, it will promptly and securely ask you for the specific PIN. Secondly, it is important to note that this particular PIN changes. Indeed, it is different every single time you attempt to connect. So I don't want to get into that right now. All right, let's smoothly transition and proceed to the subsequent and equally important segment of our discussion, shall we? We're ready to delve into the next crucial aspect now. Okay, then. As for people who might ask me, what's the difference between credibility and Wi-Fi 5G? This router, by the way, supports broadcasting two networks, one with a speed of 2.5 and another with a speed of 5G. All right? It's totally normal. In most modern routers, they can broadcast two Wi-Fi networks without any problem. So here, the things we're explaining are basically the same things that are available elsewhere. So there's no need to repeat ourselves again. All right, now let's talk about the advanced network settings section. The first thing you have is thickest power. What does that mean? It means the strength of your network. So if you set it to 80, that's the coverage area of your network. So, for example, this router can extend your network up to a distance of 50 meters, or maybe 25 meters. That's at 100%. If I choose 80%, it'll make it 20 meters. At 60%, it'll make it, say, 23 meters, and so on. But at 100%, that's the full range. All right? Okay. Yeah, every network or each one has its own, right? Okay. From 1 to 13. It's set up here, right? All right. So you can change it. You could pick 1 or you could pick 11 and so on. And we have the channel width, 20 or 40 megahertz. As for the mode, it's just the standard and the rest of the details. These things aren't important for us in this course, so we don't get into complicated details. What matters to us is this part. And what I want you to take away from this lecture is that you should be able to understand what SSID means, all right, and know its meaning and significance, okay? And know the types of Wi-Fi, all right? Very good. And also understand what it means, okay? And the part about channels and DHCP, the DHCP protocol, we talked about it a little while ago. Where is it? All right. And now we'll explain what it means, all right? Let's just open up. All right. If we look here, if we open and we type, all right, if you look here, you'll find that it gives you a style or format that doesn't matter to us at all, okay? We have the IP address version 4, all right, which is 1.3, and the subnet mask, all right? And we have or the router's address. Okay, that's very good. We understood what it means, and we understood what an address is. So, what's this all about? This, everyone, let's just open the black screen. All right. This is considered everyone. This is a network. It has several devices. There's this device, for example, and this one. Or let's make it a square shape. That would be better. All right. We have. Okay. Great. That's good. Make the font bigger. In this network, we have 192. Point 1. 168.1. Point 1. All right, I actually didn't even write the 2. Anyway, 2, okay, that's the router's address. So let's say I, Mohammed, bought a router from We, and the router's address, the default one, is this. Now, in another network, someone else also bought a router, and it's the same router or the same model as mine, okay? So you'll find that the default gateway is the same IP address. Or maybe, for example, with a slightly different IP address. All right, let's make the first cell 10.0. Because look, the topic of the subnet is point 1. All right, upset. Its subnet mask is 256. 255. 255.0. Man, this networks is 255.255.0. There are also devices, I mean, not just in the video. There are devices like .2, .3, and so on. And here as well, .1, .2, and so on. Yeah, it's basically like the network address. All right? All right. Like the name of this network back in the day, for example, when I named the network, this one's called Muhammad. So this network's name is Muhammad, and this network's name is Ahmed. All right? That's exactly the point. I truly believe that the idea is quite clear now. Right? Very nice. So now we understand, right? And what the router stuff means, and some really useful things that will help us, God willing. In the topic of the evil twin, and just like we can deny it, or in the whole course in general, so we can understand what a Wi Fi network actually is, all right? And what AP and all these things mean. With that, we've finished today's lecture, and God willing, I'll see you in the next lecture, if Allah wills.